Hey everyone, it's Max, and I am here to do a book review of A Study in Charlotte by Britany Cavallaro. So, as per usual, my review will go as such. I will be giving a summary of the book, then talk about the plot, then the characters, then the writing, give a fan cast, and then give a rating. So, what A Study in Charlotte is about? It is about the descendant of John Watson named James and Sherlock Holmes's descendant Charlotte, and they end up being at the same boarding school, and they have to solve a murder mystery because they are getting framed for it. It sounded really good. I was pretty disappointed, but I will get into that. So the plot is all right. It tries too hard. I feel like Britany Cavallaro tries way too hard to make it like Sherlock Holmes, like the stories, and it just doesn't really work because they're teenagers. They're not as mature as Sherlock and Watson, and it didn't really work out. I did enjoy it. It was fast paced. It was interesting. It definitely kept me on my toes. I was guessing, like I didn't know who the bad person was until like the end, which is good. You know, I didn't expect it. So that was all right. The characters, James Watson he's a great guy. He's really sweet. He's really loyal. He just wants to be friends with Charlotte because their families are so closely intertwined. And he's just a really good character. He's her sidekick through and through, and he just like helps her with everything. Charlotte, on the other hand, I was not a fan of. She was just the direct female embodiment of Sherlock Holmes, and it didn't work. Because one, she's a teenage girl, and two, she's a girl. And I just feel like the whole, like, she doesn't feel anything, you know, just did not work. And it was just completely unrealistic. I didn't think she was realistic. I didn't think her family was realistic. It was like, oh, we were taught from birth how to pick locks and be spies. And her family let her keep her drug addiction since she was 12. Like, yeah, right. I just don't think it's realistic whatsoever. And I didn't like it. Her family sucks. Her family is so awful, and you hate them. And I really hate books with an awful family relationship, unless, like, it really furthers the plot, which it doesn't. I mean, maybe it does in the sequel, but in this one, like, her whole family dynamic just doesn't make it any interesting, and I just did not like Charlotte as a character. Maybe it was supposed to draw sympathy, like, her awful family was supposed to draw sympathy from the reader, but in all honesty, I just didn't find it to be understandable. I didn't think it was developed enough. Maybe, I mean, it's supposed to be a trilogy, so maybe it will get better. I do own the second one, and I do plan on reading it this month, but I just couldn't get into Charlotte as a character. I thought she was so annoying. She kept James in the out of the loop for everything. She just used him, and her excuse for not telling him was, I needed your reaction to be realistic. And I'm just like, like, I just didn't think that was legit. She's just not used to working with people, and she just drags him along. She uses him completely, and she makes him feel like crap about himself. And I just hated her as a character because James was so sweet and just like a really good guy, and she's just mean. And I'm like, just separate, James. You can do so much better. And it was all like another part that adds to the unrealistic pieces of the book was that they just all of a sudden became instant friends. Like, she didn't really like him, and then all of a sudden, like, they were framed for the murder, and now they're like best friends. And I feel like their friendship, it would never have actually worked in real life. Like, Cavallaro just had these two polar opposite people become friends just because they were Holmes and Watsons, and it just did not flow. I just don't think the characters connected, and it was unfortunate. So for the writing was pretty good. It was fast paced. It could have, no, I mean, I guess the description's all right. It could have been better. It could have been a lot worse. It was just, it just tries too hard to be Sherlock Holmes, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work like whatsoever, and it just doesn't make sense. Like, supposedly Sherlock Holmes was written by James's ancestor, like John Watson, but it's supposed to be written by Arthur Conan Doyle, so she just doesn't do a great job at explaining the little intricacies that she keeps in there. And another thing, she does not do a great job at explaining, like, she expects you to have read like all of the Sherlock Holmes novels before you read this, which I don't think is realistic because it's supposed to be a young adult novel, so none of us were around when Sherlock Holmes was, you know, popular. And it just, she doesn't describe the intricacies of the murders very well, and I just didn't think it worked out very well. So my fan cast is Landry Bender from Best Friends Whenever from Disney Channel. I don't know why, but I just kept like picturing her, and my past few reviews, I've been like bringing people from like Disney Channel, and I babysit quite a lot, and they all watch Disney Channel, so that's why I know all these actors, because you know what, it's their thing. They enjoy it. So, and I just think she'd be fun, even though in the TV show she's like quirky and like funny. That's not Charlotte, but you know, I think she'd do well. And for James Watson, I gave to Thomas Brody Sangster, which I know is like not realistic because he's in like his 30s, but I love him so much, and I just think he'd be good. He's supposed to be British in a Connecticut school, so you know, he's British, and I feel like he's got that awkward gangliness to him that James has, and so I thought he'd be a good James. And overall, my rating is a 3 out of 5. I wasn't a huge fan, but as I've already bought the second book, I will continue with the trilogy, at least this far. I probably won't get to the third one, but we'll see. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. Bye!